Mike and Hannah here with Delta. Today we're showing you how to install a pull-down kitchen faucet. This is just a single hole faucet with a spray wand that pulls down from the spout.
We're using the Trinsic as our model, but this installation video can be used for other pull-down faucets as well. So even though yours may look a little bit different, the process will be the same. It's a really easy installation and you only need a few tools to get it done. A Phillips screwdriver.
And we recommend a long one because it's easier to reach behind the sink.
Also get an adjustable wrench, some safety glasses, and probably a flashlight.
We're going to flush our lines for this installation too, so go ahead and get a small bucket or pot and a towel for any water that may drip.
And lastly, if you're installing this on a sink or countertop that's not totally smooth, you may want to add a little bit of silicone to ensure a nice watertight seal. I think that's everything. You ready to get going?
Let's do it. So the first step, we're going to take our foam gasket that's included with your faucet, and all we really want is this outer ring. So we're going to pop the middle out, just like so. And then we'll use this tab to peel off the backing to reveal the sticky side. And you don't need the tab anymore, so you can take that off. And now we're going to feed our supply lines through the gasket with the sticky side up, just like so. And we're going to seat it on the bottom of the faucet, making sure it's flush, just like that. Next, you'll feed your supply lines down through the mounting hole in your sink. All right, and we're going to use the Delta logo to make sure everything is centered. Now, if you have an uneven sink surface, you'll want to apply some silicone to the gasket to ensure a watertight seal. All right, now Mike's going to tighten it up from underneath.
Now below the sink, I'm going to begin by threading my washer and my mounting nut onto my sprayer hose. And then also getting my supply lines through the center as well. Again, keep an eye on that tag. I don't want to rip that off. All right, I'm pushing the washer and my mounting nut all the way up to the bottom of my shank, making sure none of my hoses are pinched at all. And then I am hand tightening my mounting nut onto the bottom of the shank. And you don't want to force this at all. It should thread nice and easy as you go ahead and hand tighten this on there. With that tight up in there, I'm going to grab my long Phillips screwdriver. I'm going to tighten one screw first, tighten up this other screw. I always like to go back to that first screw I tightened, just give it another little quarter turn or so to make sure nothing's moved as I tighten down that other side. Our next step is going to be to connect our PEX supply lines to our supply stub out and valves. You want to make sure we get the cold side to the cold and the hot side to the hot. You'll see Delta has made this easy for us because we have a color-coded supply lines. Blue stands for cold, red stands for hot. Now in general, the cold stub out is going to be on the right side of your sink. So we're going to go ahead and take the blue side. Now you'll notice, depending on where your stub out is, you may have a little bit of extra tubing here. So you have two options. One is you can loop the tube to get out some of that extra length. However, you don't want this loop to be any less than about 8 inches across. You can see here we're going to be a little bit tighter. So the alternative is to make more of a spiral pattern and then bringing the supply line down to your stub out and beginning to hand tighten that nut onto the top there. Now once you've got that hand tightened down, we want to take a wrench. We're going to give this one more revolution. You'll notice on the nut, one of the faces of the nut has a little diamond pattern. And so that's how we can kind of track to make sure we make one full 360-degree revolution around, tighten that nut up. There. And we should be nice and connected. I'm going to go ahead and repeat the same steps for my hot side on my other stub out. Now that we have our supply lines connected, our next step is going to be to flush our lines. And we're going to do that by making sure our faucet up top is in the off position. I'm going to slowly turn on both of my supplies. First my cold, and then my hot. And now's a good time to check for any leaks. I don't see any drips anywhere, so I think we're all set there. And I'm now going to take my bucket and my towel for any overspray. And this little outlet tube up here is where the water's going to come out. So I'm gonna position my bucket as close to the tube as I can, and then use my free hand to make sure the tube's gonna squirt into the bucket. And once I have it all set up, I'm gonna have Hannah move the faucet to full mix position for about 30 seconds. So
Okay.
go ahead whenever you are, Hannah.
Turning on.
All right, that should be good. All right, perfect. Gonna move my bucket out of the way. I'm gonna use my towel to go ahead and clean up any overspray anywhere. Our next step is to connect our sprayer hose to our outlet tube. And we're going to begin by doing that. First off, we want to make sure that our hose is free and clear of our supply lines because it's going to move up and down. We don't want to get hung up on anything as we use the faucet. So first thing we do is take our sprayer weight and feed our sprayer hose through the middle of the sprayer weight, and then take the end and push that up onto the outlet tube. And then we're going to take our blue clip and clip it over the connection we just made. You'll hear it snap into place, and then give it just a little bit of a tug down to make sure that we've got a good tight connection there. And everything looks good down here. All right, so we've checked for any leaks under the sink at all of our connections, and everything looks pretty good up here, so I think we're done.
Pretty easy installation.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. If you have any other questions, you can always reach out to Delta Customer Service.
Enjoy your new faucet.